So good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Although we're not a member, we were graciously invited by Julie and Sandra to come and share something that we've been doing for the City of Amsterdam, for the employees of the City of Amsterdam. I have a quick 3-slide presentation, 3 steps. So first of all, the reason why, how did this all come about? I'd like to share something about the approach, and then the third step will be about the results that we've seen of this of these sessions that we've been holding. So how did it all start? We were approached by the HR manager, one of the HR managers of the City of Amsterdam. She had been, as Bill was just saying, how important communication is. She'd been in regular contact with her employees, with all the people, with a lot of people working there, asking them how they were dealing with the consequences of Corona, asking them what it has done to their mental well-being, or what it is doing to their mental well-being, and also to what extent the City of Amsterdam could be of help. So hearing all of that, she asked us if we could think of something, especially because of our experience with Amsterdam in the field of personal development. And also that she found out that not everybody is talking when you ask them how they are. And I think in the last meeting, Julie, where you invited me, that also came about, that when you ask people how they are, many people will say, oh yes, I'm fine, I'm fine. And then, you know, later on, it takes a couple of times to ask people before you actually know what is going on. So I loved what you said, that Bill, how important communication is in that respect. So that was the reason why. So how she got to ask us about this. So the approach, we started to work on that, and we have developed a fairly simple 2-hour online sessions, as I said, it's called behind closed doors, which starts with 3 questions to the people who are participating. We have small groups, maximum 4 people, so there's ample time for sharing. And the first 3 questions are, first of all, what's the impact of COVID that you've seen in your personal life over the past year, where everybody talks about that, how people have been coping with that. And then the third question is, what support did they get, or would they have liked, or would they still like to have? And then, and I'll show you the screen, then we, just 1 second, then we start with these doors. Okay, so that's why it's called behind. Can you see this slide? Hello?
Not yet.
Yeah, okay. So,
nope. Sorry,
yeah?
No.
You can't see anything?
No.
Okay, so I have to go back.
We see your beautiful room, and
but you don't see the. All right, let me do something else then. And here I share. Now then, yeah, now you see it, right?
Perfect.
Yes, okay. So behind closed doors, and that's this is what it looked like. 10 doors, behind each door a different question. And these different questions, they're witty, fun, but also quite serious, confrontational questions. What the aim was of this was for people to reflect, you know, tell a bit more about themselves, about their situation, sharing experiences, and learning from each other. What we have seen is that, you know, that's what people actually really like. So how it starts, the participants take turns in opening the doors. So that looks like something, oh dear, how can I go to the next one? There we go. So you open a door, and the first person, the participant, gets a question, for instance, how nice are you to live with, or how nice it is to live with you. And they get some time to talk about that. And then the idea is to pass the question on at least to one other person, and before we open a new door. So everybody gets to share. And the session takes about 2 hours, and the idea is that in 2 hours, you know, all the doors are opened and all the questions are answered. It's fun. It's tantalizing, but also there's a lot of intimacy. People have quite a lot of time to share, and because the questions are so yeah, there's a big variance there. A lot of topics are dealt with. What we do is during this 2-hour session, we write down all the learnings, and then so after the session, people get that. So they have that with them. It's very much about, you know, the questions are not, there's 1 or 2 questions maybe about Corona, but most of all, the purpose is to do, you know, get some self-awareness going, dealing with the facts of life, exploring different thoughts. And most of all is how to deal with adversity. As Sandra was saying, you know, we're in the field of personal development, and most of the things are how do you keep a clear mind, you know, dealing with the facts of life. And it can be death of someone or divorce. You know, there's so many things that happen in our lives, and COVID, of course, is this, but then on steroids, because it affects us all in various ways. And that's why it's called Behind Closed Doors, because there are many things happening in every family, as Bill just said. And this is how for people to share a little bit about that. And so how do you deal with adversity? How do you keep a straight mind? Then in terms of the results, we've done quite a few sessions already, still ongoing. The value, people are very appreciative about it. They like it, very enthusiastic. A couple of things that are important here. The interaction is important on a personal level. It gives them new insights and new tools. So that was something people said, the feedback that we got. It's also nice to just be away from the daily hustle and bustle, and, you know, the hectic meeting from going from one to the other. And this moment of reflection, that is what people appreciated as well. For some people, especially the ones with family, it's a welcome distraction to get away, because when you're working from home with the family, it's either work or family. So there's little time for you as a person to think or reflect or chew on some things. So that is what they appreciated. The people who don't have a family loved it, because it, you know, some of them said, I leave this meeting more uplifted, if only to know that I'm not the only one who's experiencing that. People without families, we've heard quite a few stories of feelings of loneliness. And also doing this, you know, brings back that personal element that they have in the workspace, this informal, as Julie said, just at the printer or sharing a cup of coffee at the coffee machine. Another thing that they mentioned was a better understanding of various, you know, how people are dealing or maybe not getting back to each other, so more understanding for each other. And just very practical initiatives to do things together, not only, as a few of you have mentioned also last time, things that are initiated by the employer, but just a simple walk with 2 people or going for lunch in the park are things that come out of these meetings. In general, I think what people experience, and which is not only important, of course, in these COVID times, but people feel heard, they feel seen. And the interesting thing is that we've done this, these online sessions for another client of us on the other side of the world, water districts in the Philippines, where we've had some experiences where people are not so ready to share emotions and experiences. And by doing this, by prompting them with questions, it worked over there very well in a completely different culture. And with the same evaluation, the same ratings, so more understanding, more feeling of being connected, a feeling of belonging. And people value the intimacy that it brings to get a bit out of the routine. So happy in Amsterdam and happy Excelix people. So that was my short 3-slide presentation. Thank you.